Okay. So this is gonna be a experience. So let me see if I sound fine. See if I overpower the game too much or the game will end up overpowering me. So let me hop into my own stream. And listen to what the fuck I'm dealing with. I see one person in chat and I'm not knowing if it's counting me joining in on mobile to hear how it sounds, but is it sounding alright? Like, am I too low? Is the game too low? Like, then again, maybe my phone, I only hear myself at like higher than like 60%, so it may just be a me issue. So in that case, I'll probably end up overpowering the game a bit, so I'll just boost it a bit. Like 15 on the volume mixer feels fine. So yeah, hello, this is an impromptu stream, solely because, again, I wasn't able to properly convey it like a week or two ago, the last time I streamed, but I'm just genuinely tired and just didn't really feel like doing much. But I'm gonna try to at least do a stream on Fridays when I feel like it still. I've contemplated doing multiple days for a long while and just haven't. And also because of the Golden Week sale last week, and because, you know, I genuinely haven't looked at anything else from Ryukishi 07th other than Higurashi, mostly through the anime, but also through the visual novel as well. Like, I figured, fuck it, why not give something new a try? This is also going to be putting me on blast for parts where it's not voice acted because I have mods installed. It's going to put me on blast for not being able to fucking read. So here we go. Controls. Fast. M to toggle volume. Yeah, M to toggle volume. F to toggle full screen window mode. A to toggle auto mode. S fast forward. Control super fast forward. Right click display in game menu. Okay. Rondo of the Witch and Reasoning. Start. Welcome to Rokenjima. Begin a new game. Suspended games can also be resumed from here. No, I'm not gonna do that. I actually wanted to read what it said. Remove the lock on this episode. If you do not progress through the episodes in order, you will probably be confused and lose interest. We strongly recommend that only for those who've played the previous episodes to use this feature. Alright. Welcome to Rokenjima. The Golden Witch extends her heartfelt greetings. Please take it easy and relax for the time being. There's no need to think overly hard about any of this. Quietly accept all that is about to happen. That's all that's being asked of you. The difficulty level is standard. We might as well at least start by taking the easy road. Okay, I thought I had to click start again. New function, tips mode. In the middle of the game at any time, a right click with the mouse will open up the tips mode. Here, besides the save and load functions, you can view character profiles and more. Additional information will be added as you progress through the story. Probably a good idea to take a peek here every once in a while. Noted. The story is very obviously fictional and fantastic in nature, any resemblance. There it is.
またお酒をたしなまれましたな。
The old physician let out a sigh as he removed the stethoscope, were already stumbling. Two elderly men could be seen in a dimly lit study, which was filled with dust and a sickly sweet stench. In the corner of this room, which was much larger than what most people would call a study, was an expensive-looking bed, a man undergoing a medical examination, and the physician conducting it. There was also what appeared to be a servant watching over the whole scene.
酒は我が友だ。
The bottle is my friend.
お前に負けぬ友人であり、そしてお前よりも付き合いが長い。
As the man bearing his chest for the stethoscope rearranged his clothes, he spoke unapologetically.
金蔵さん、あんたの体が一見調子がいいのは薬が効いてるからだ。だが、そんな強い酒を飲み続けては薬の意味もなくなってしまう。悪いことは言わん。酒は控えなさい。忠告の気持ちだけはありがたくいただいておく。我が友よ、元気、もう一杯頼む。心持ち薄めでな。南條の顔も立ててやれ。よろしいのですか。
After eyeing both the master who demanded the alcohol and the family doctor who forbade it, Genji, the old butler, silently gave a slight nod and carried out his master's orders faithfully. The family doctor, Nanjo, let out a deep sigh once again as he watched the butler busy himself alongside the liquor cabinet. There was a smell filling up the room. The sweet, poisonous aroma felt as though it melted the heart, if not the soul itself. It was the smell of that venomous green drink that the man couldn't bear to part with.
南條、お前は私の長きにわたる親友だ。今日まで私を長らえさせてくれたことを深く感謝する。私は何も医者としての忠告など金蔵さんは全く聞いてくれませんからな。お前とて差し間違えた手を待てと言っても聞かぬではないか。ならば愛子というものだろう。親方様、すまぬ。薬は切れても死にはせんが、こいつが切れては死んでしまうでな。
Disregarding Nanjo, who had his face set in a resigned expression, Kinzo took the glass that Genji was holding out to him. Very few people would associate that venomous color with an alcoholic beverage.
南條、正直に話せ。私の命はあとどの程度持つ。さて、どのくらいと申し上げればそのお酒を控えてくれますやら。
Nanjo once again let out a sigh of resignation. Then he finally spoke to Kinzo as the latter swirled his glasses.
長くはありませんな。
どの程度に長くないというのだ。
このチェスで例えましょう。金蔵さんの詰めもなかなかですが、私のキングを追い詰めるには至りますまい。
Nanjo's gaze was directed at a side table with a massive chess set placed on top of it. Judging by the positioning of the pieces, the game seemed to be entering its final stage. Black's rook and bishop were cutting deeply into the enemy lines. White's king had already been castled and cornered, so that even an amateur could see that the match would reach its conclusion before too long. Every time Nanjo came to give a medical examination, both of them would make a few moves. Nanjo was hinting that Kinzo would most likely fall into his eternal sleep before this game could be concluded. These were less the words of a physician than they were the words of an old friend.
普通の患者になら遺言を書くよう勧めることです。
遺言とは何だ何時を。私の屍をどのように食い散らかせとハゲタカどもに指南する書き置きなのか。
いや、違いますぞ。遺言は意思を残すことだ。遺産分配のことだけを書くものじゃない。
ほう、遺産分配以外に書くこととは何なのか。
心残りややり残し、受け継いでほしいことや伝えたいこと、何でもいいんです。
受け継いでほしいことや伝えたいことだと。バカバカしい。この後ろ宮金蔵、後に残したいことも伝えたいこともただの一つもないわ。裸一貫で生まれた。そして裸一貫で死ぬ。
Damn.
バカ息子どもに残したいものなど何一つないわ。もしも訪れる最後が今日だとしても今だとしても。
He's about to die right now. Oh no.
私は何も恐れることなくその死の運命を受け入れようではないか。
I was waiting for him to die frame one after that sentence.
全てを築き上げた。富も名誉も全てだ。それらは私と共に築き上げられ、私と共に失われよう。後に残してやるものなど何もないわ。何もない。あとは野となれ山となれ。墓も棺も何も望まぬわ。それが魔女と私の契約だ。私が死ぬ時に全てを失う。初めからその約束だからこそ何も残らぬのだ。何も残せぬのだ。
After reaching a furious crescendo, Kinzo suddenly slumped over. Yeah, there it is. His expression was limp and feeble, as though an evil spirit had possessed him, then left.
だが未練がある。残すものは何一つないが、残したまま行けぬものが一つだけある。
それを書き記せばよい。もちろん生きているうちにこなせればそれでよい。だが万一の時、残された者がそれを引き継いでくれる。自分に万一があっても必ずその心残りが解決できるように残していく。それが遺言というものです。
When Nanjo tried to get past Brain, thank you. Get past, you took from gently pat. Big brain. Big brain. When Nanjo tried to gently pat Kenzo's shoulder, the dying man flew into a sudden brain. Work with me, you were doing so well. When Nanjo tried to gently pat Kenzo's shoulder, the dying man flew into a sudden rage and batted away Nanjo's hand.
ダメだ。私が生きているうちでなくてはならぬ。私は死ねば魂はすぐに契約の悪魔に食らわれて消え去ってしまう。死後の世界も安らぎも私にはないのだ。だから全ては私が生きているうちでなければならぬ。だから遺言状など私には必要ない。そのようなものを書く暇があったなら私は見たい。もう一度見たい。ベアトリーチェの微笑む顔がもう一度見たい。はあ、ベアトリーチェ、なぜに私をこれほどまでに拒むのか。
The Uminekos are crying for the same reason the Ikaros. Hey, on.
今こそお前に与えられた全てを返そう。全てを失おう。だから最後にもう一度だけお前の微笑を見せてくれ。ベアトリーチェ、頼む、交渉だ。聞こえているはずだ。お前はそういう女だ。頼む、姿を見せてくれ。いるんだろう。聞こえていながら姿を消し、今もこの部屋のどこかで私を嘲笑っているのだろう。私の前にもう一度現れてくれ。そして微笑んでくれ。なじってくれてもいい。望むならお前の手で私の命を奪ってくれてもいい。このまま一人で死にたくない。お前の微笑みを再び一目見るまでは絶対に死ねないのだ。ああ、ベアトリーチェ、ベアトリーチェ、この命はくれてやる。お前にくれてやる。5勝だ、ベアトリーチェ。
Well, that was a start. Spanish for been dying for a while. Yeah. He was dying during that whole scene. This sounds like Scar. Yeah, it does. Otter, it really does. Like, outside of the small bits I've played of the fighting game, I genuinely know nothing about this. Well, outside of that, like, one of the manga, Rena shows up for, like, a brief bit for no reason.
時代ってやつは進歩してんな。たったの20分でついちまったんだから驚いちまうぜ。
I couldn't help but scratch my head and marvel at how far things have come in recent years. We used to go by boat. Back then, we were all forced to endure nearly half a day of swaying back and forth over the sea before we reached Nijima. Things have gotten so much more convenient these days. Still, we've never been on a plane this small. I've flown in a huge jumbo jet before, but this will be my first experience in such a tiny one. It's gonna shake, isn't it? They say smaller boats shake more than big ones, so I guess the same rule probably applies to planes. Just spare me.
大丈夫だよ、バトラ君。船に比べたら全然揺れは少ないよ。おお、ジョージの兄貴かよ。
You know, it's probably because I played the fighting game first, but every time I look at George, I just go, yo, is that civilized Kim Kafwan? Then I realize it's not, and then I get sad.
急に勘弁してくれよ。今ので寿命が3年縮んじまったぜ。つうか、揺れってなんすか？別に俺は飛行機も揺れんのかな、まさか落ちたりしねえかななんて夢にも思っちゃいないぜ。
No, he does not have a justice motor. I can't.
もう小さい頃とは違うよね。
I mean, you're right, but I just can't not look at him and go, yo, it's just Kim with glasses. Wait.
あれから6年も経ってるんだし。
He traded injustice for scholar.
もうバトラ君も子供じゃないか。じゃあ、兄貴はタバコも酒も OK ってかよ。タバコは興味ねえけど、酒は飲んでみたいよな。兄貴なんかおじさんの遺伝子あんなら相当飲めちゃいそうだけど。僕の場合は好きで飲むというよりは仕事で飲む方が多いからね。日本のビジネスは酒抜きでは難しいよ。
The best timeline where Kim never mentioned Joe. I feel like this joke's gonna get run into the ground and I'm not gonna care because I love it too much.
そうっすよね。だから俺も今晩の夕食あたりに初挑戦してみようかなって。ダメだよ。バトラ君はまだ未成年じゃないか。未成年の飲酒は発育に悪影響を及ぼす可能性がって、こんだけタッパがありゃ俺の発育は十分っすから。むしろちょいと身長縮めた方が服が探しやすいくらい。
Wait a minute. So bad. Damn. I was about to say, wait, because I'd assume from like every rendition I've seen of Battler, I just assume, damn, that's a tall man. Nah. I'm guessing he's still a teenager then. Until I hit my growth spurt, my height was below average in class. But then I grew and grew, and before I knew it, I passed 180 centimeters, 5'11". Okay, he's a tall boy by Japanese standards, but still a tall boy. I guess I have all that muscle training and shady mail order performance. Wait. Wait. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. Wait. I wasn't ready for that. I was not ready for that. Oh, that's a sentence I was not ready for. Like, I wasn't ready for that one. Oh, God. So let me check the... Oh, no drop frames so far. Okay. Before then, I never dreamed I'd shoot 10 centimeters above George Aniki, who had reached his peak height early on. Damn. I bet all my relatives all say... I'll bet my relatives all say, "Look how big you've grown, Battler-chan," or something. It's all so embarrassing. I wish they'd just give me a break. Anyway, my name Battler. Well, it's pretty damn weird, don't you think? I've gotta wonder what my parents were thinking when they named me that. I've never met anyone who could get it right the first time. I usually get called Sento-kun. Sorry, but it's not even close. My name is written... Bold of you to assume I could fucking read Japanese, thank you. Can you read it? The first part is my family named Ushiromiya. It's a fairly plausible Japanese pronunciation so far. The problem is my given name. I'm assuming it's... That's yeah, okay, that is Battler. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know how to say it like that. That is made up of characters for fight in person, and it's pronounced Battler. Put it all together and you got Ushiromiya Battler. Pretty crazy, right? It's crazy enough that my parents decided to call me that, but it's even more crazy that some government worker let them make it official. This feels like it's taking the piss, and I love it. This is pretty crazy, right? By the way, I'm fucking screenshotting. Both groups are at the top of my muscle. Wait! Anyway, this is one of my cousins. His name is... Don't do this to me. Don't keep doing this to me, I swear to God. Pronounced Ushiromiya George. He's 5 years older than me, so he must be turning 23... Oh wait, then Battler's 18. He's not a minor. Wait a minute. Like, when he said that, I thought he must have been, like, 17. Well, then again, he may be 18 and still in school, so there. And I think drinking age is, like, in most parts of the world, like, 20 or higher. So yeah, never mind. This gives off your probably wondering how I got it. It really does, and I love it. He's 5 years older than me, so he must be turning 23 this year. Since the Ushiromiya cousins consist of 2 boys and girls, I ended up playing with George all the time. And because I've always thought of him as a big brother, I still call him Aniki to this day.
しかしバトラ君は大きくなったな。男子3日を渡れば刮目して待つべしとはよう言うたもんや。
やっぱり血かしらね。ルドルフも高校くらいまでは身長そんなになかったのよ。成長期が遅い方が最終的には伸びるのかもね。
んなことないっすよ。男は中身も伴わなくっちゃ。
そうや。バトラ君は分かっとる。男は中身で勝負なんや。常に己の鍛錬を忘れたらあかん。そして虎視眈々とチャンスを待ってドカンと開花させるんや。わしもまさか今日会社社長なんて一国一城の主になれるとは思わんかった。そうや、あの無一文の焼け野原がわしの原点なんや。
This stout, plump old guy is George Anaki's dad, Uncle Hideyoshi. Okay, did it need to pause there? I thought it crashed. I was like, wait a minute. This stout, plump guy is... The game couldn't handle that descriptor. He's the husband of Dad's older sister. In other words, we're not blood related. He's nice to children, sociable all the time, and even quick to give out some spending money to us kids. Simply put, he's an awesome uncle. He speaks in an odd and very noticeable Kansai dialect, but he's actually a natural-born Kanto man. Apparently, impressions are everything in the business world, so speaking in a different style than other people is an act that makes him stick out more. However, I hear he gets embarrassed when talking with an earshot of a real Kansai person, so he switches back to standard Japanese. I don't really get it, but he's definitely an interesting person.
すぐ自分の自慢話に入っちゃうのがたまに傷なのよね。およしなさいな。バトラ君、耳にタコができちゃってるんだから。
I feel like if I look up the cast list, I'm gonna find exactly who I think I'm gonna find. Business people are shady. I mean, you're not wrong. How you're really not wrong.
そんなことねえっすよ。
Like, that statement has almost never been wrong. There are very few times where a businessman in anything, businessman or woman in anything, is actually just not horrible. Extremely rare.
でもいいじゃないっすか。語れる武勇伝があるってのは男としてかっこいいことだと思いますよ。俺なんか語るような話は何もないっすからね。
あらそう？バトラ君なんかそのルックスでいっぱい女の子を泣かせてそうだからさぞかし武勇伝が多そうだと思ったんだけど。
Oh, that one's not voice acted? Can't believe you have nothing at all to brag about. Or it was too hard.
情報弾じゃないっすよ。そんな妙な武勇伝あるわけないじゃない。むしろ紹介してほしいくらいっす。
あら、あるんでしょ武勇伝。おばさんにも後で教えてね。ジョージったらそういう浮ついた話が全然ないんだから。
Isn't that your son, lady? Jesus. This is George Anaki's mother, Aunt Eva. Or is it Ava? I'm just gonna go with Eva because it's what my brain just kind of accepts at this point. Like, Eva's my default, so... She's my dad's older sister. Yo, my son ain't got a game out for you. No. That's fucking foul. She and Uncle Hideyoshi are a pair of jokers, and they've always teased me as far as I can remember. This sometimes made them a bit hard to get along with when I was small. Well, I guess the events of the last 30 seconds proves that they can still be pretty hard to get along with. Even so, George Anaki's family is interesting and fun, and they seem to get along just fine. Sheesh, that's pretty much the total opposite of my family.
バトラ君、ルドルフさんを見なかった？
あ、さっきお手洗いに行くのを見ましたけど、まだ出てこないんすか？こりゃぽっくりいっちまったかな。ナムナムナムナム。
Fuck was
自
that
分のお父
noise?
さんにそんな言い方はないでしょ。
Fuck was that?
まあ、あの人のお手洗いが長いのは今に始まったことじゃないしね。
I'm stuck on what the fuck that noise he made was. Wait. You can't just do things like this and expect me to recover.
ああ、あんにゃろは昔っからそうです。雑誌持ってトイレに入るのやめてほしいんすよね。何の雑誌持ち込んで何をしてんだ。
Tomboy sighted engaging reek. None of this is helping. I'm being attacked on all fronts.
あら、そんな心配は全然不要よ。私と一緒にいる以上、そんなこと一人でさせやしないもの。
なんの話か。後でじっくり聞きたいっすね。
Wait, hang on. Is there a way to clear switch Japanese options system? Is there a way to show? I forgot if there was a way to show the backlog because I genuinely missed what they said due to Tomboy sighted switchy engaging reek.
親父め、玉まで握られてグロでも出ないわけだ。
握っとかないとどういうことになるかよーくわかってるでしょ。
いやいや、まったく。あのクソ親父の手綱はキリエさんにしか無理っすよ。実の息子の俺も喜んで譲っちゃいますわ。
ええ、任せてちょうだい。そういうの得意なのよ。
This woman is my father's wife. Her name is Ushiromiya Kirie. As you can probably tell from our conversations, she's not my real mother. She's basically my stepmother. My real mom died 6 years ago, and Kirie-san is the woman Dad married afterwards. It's understandable for someone my age. I can never bring myself to call his new wife Mom. And I doubt she feels like using the word son on this massive kid who's no relation to her at all. We aren't little kids. We know there's nothing to be gained by fighting. So we decided that we wouldn't force ourselves to pretend that we were family. I've decided to act a bit more frank with her, acting as though she's a friendly neighbor instead. It's much easier if we keep a little distance instead of forcing ourselves to act all close and making each other uncomfortable. Kirie-san has always been very open about all this, and thanks to that, we've been able to get along pretty well. Then, just as we were bad-mouthing Dad about being in the bathroom, the man himself came back, wiping his hands with a handkerchief. He looks like a bastard, frame one. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. He looks like if Red White drip from Phoenix Wright dressed like a normal person. I hate him already. About to beat someone to death with the thinker statue. Well, no, it was a thinker clock, my bad.
バトルなんだよ、親父。耳つねんな、耳。
また母さんと俺の悪口を言ってたろ。なんでお前には
Man didn't even
父
speak
親
in
に対する
varieties.
尊敬の念ってやつがわかねえんだ。
I mean, Otter, to be fair, when I see a character and they have a face of slime, and then they immediately remind me of another character who is also complete garbage, I just sit there like, so I can tell I don't like them out the gate. You've designed me for me to not like them out the gate.
いでででででででででででああ、いでえよ、クソ親父。俺の耳伸ばしたって空は飛べねえぞ、おい。い
ほれほれ。立て。立て。横い。横。丸回転。逆に回して。倍率どんどん。さらに2倍。お父様、失礼なこと言ってごめんなさいって言ってみろ。
冗談じゃねえぜ。そういうのは会員制のお店でやりやがるってんだ。だから話せって。
Just not like hell, I'll apologize. Go find a members only store. Bitch out here doing cheat codes. I have to stop. I have to stop laughing at everything. But everything is really good at the moment. This old bastard is my dad. I think I'm pretty tall myself. My dad's just about as tall as I am. It's no surprise that Aunt Ava started talking about Dad's blood when she saw my height. By the way, my height isn't the only thing I got from him. It seems having weird names runs in the family. My dad's full name is written... You can't read it, can you? Come on, it's just... Anyway, this guy's name is pronounced Rudolph. You must hate grandfather for giving him that name. Still, that's no reason to pass that weird naming tradition on to me. As the old bastard twisted my ear all over the place, Aunt Eva snuck up behind him and grabbed his counter ear.
こらこらルドルフ、息子に乱暴してるんじゃないわよ。
言ってよ、姉貴。
It's just pronounced. God damn it. This scene perfectly illustrated the relationship between the prankster brother and the older sister, who could deal out a punishment to him despite his size.
エヴァ姉さん、そのくらいにしてあげてください。同じ分、後で反対の耳を私が引っ張って伸ばしておきますので。
あら、ごめんなさいね。キリエさんの引っ張る分も残しておかなくっちゃ。ルドルフ、後でたっぷりキリエさんにお仕置きしてもらいなさいね。
Okay, so everyone's on the same wave of fuck this dude. I understand.
たく、姉貴こそ弟いじめもいいとこだぜ。秀吉兄さんもこんな姉貴を拾ってくれて
We're just on the wave
ありが
of
とうござい
yo
ます。
fuck this douchebag. I'm on board with that.
兄さんの寛大さがなかったら今でもまだ弟として申し訳ないです。
Didn't mean to skip ahead.
誰が売れ残るって？
After taking 3 steps back, Aunt Eva unleashed one of her beautiful high reverse roundhouse kicks, which stopped just a centimeter away from the tip of Dad's nose. After starting out with a Tai Chi Chuan for her figure, Aunt Eva then developed an interest in the Chinese martial arts. After that, she went through karate, taekwondo, capoeira, and what is it she's learning now again? Well, anyway, they say a woman's weapons are in her lower body, and that's literally true for Ava.
ルドルフ、
I like her already.
側頭部直撃だと一発で混沌するわよ。この間演舞でミスって 相方泡吹いちゃったんだからね。
So she's built different. Yeah.
いやいや、足癖の悪い姉貴で本当に申し訳ないです。
You know what? I'm gonna ask the real questions. Why isn't she in the fighting game? You literally have someone who knows combat, and I'm sitting here like, and you're not in the fighting game? Dad, completely unfazed, shrugged and smiled ironically at Uncle Hideyoshi.
わしには兄弟がおらん。だからエヴァとルドルフ君のじゃれ合いを見とると胸がポカポカしてくるんや。
So far, Hideyoshi seems like, you know,
兄弟や家
the
族は
rare
ほ
okay
んまにええ
businessman.
もんや
She
な。
reminds you of a character from a Katsu book. I don't know the name of a character, but their design is pretty similar.
あら、ジョージ君に弟を作ってあげるとい
Well,
う
not
話は
pretty
ないんです
similar.
か？
Solely because, you know, the dress and the hairstyle, it's literally the most similar things about them.
もうジョージ君も立派な大人になって手も離れたでしょうから、次の子がいてもいいでしょうに。
おいおいキリエ、生まれてくる子の苦労も考えてやれよ。よくこの性悪姉貴から生まれて、ジョージ君はあんなにもまっすぐ育ってくれたもんさ。本当にジョージ君は偉いな。うちのボンクラに今度爪の赤を分けてやってくれよ。
Oh. I'm not a fan of this already, because I'm sitting there like, damn, George's mom didn't really have to come at him like that. Damn, Badler's dad really didn't have to come at him like that. Like, at least with George's mom sitting there like, oh, it's in a mocking, said she didn't really mean it. With Rudolph, I'm sitting there like, nah, you probably actually think your son's a blockhead.
そんなことないわよ。エヴァ姉さんの教育が間違ってなかったから、ジョージ君はあんなに素直ないい子になったんだから。
Yeah, so these people are like their nephews more. These people like their nephews more than their actual. Yeah. Well, I can't say that for Ava and Hideyoshi because I haven't seen them act with, like, how they act towards George in an actual, you know, conversation. But that's what it's looking like.
ですよね、姉さん。
あらあら、そんな。うちのジョージもまだまだ頼りなくって。そうそう、それよりお宅のエンジちゃんはどんな具合なの？吐いちゃったって聞いたけど。
Oh. That is certainly a thing to bring up.
そうやそうや。久しぶりに顔が見れると思って期待してたんやで。大丈夫なんか？
いつも季節の変わり目に風邪をひくんです。どうも弱くって本当は連れてきたかったんですけど、今回は私の実家に面倒見てもらっています。
それが賢明よ。本家の毒気に当てない方が治りは早いもの。大人の都合より子供の病気の方が大事よ。
わしな、吐く風によう効く薬知っとんや。帰ったらすぐ送るさかい、使うてくれや。
Yeah, Hideyoshi seems... he seems super nice guy. Which means he's probably not, or he actually is, and he's gonna get fucked over, and I'm gonna feel bad.
ありがとうございます、秀吉兄さん。
Because in anything visual novel-esque, I've learned if you are too... Oh yes, the good old... But in anything visual novel related I've seen or read throughout my life, just if you are a mostly decent person and or a seemingly decent person, you are either actual scum or are going to get it horrible. For no real reason. Just because, yo, fuck you for being alive. That's just how it is. So, I keep hoping he stays a good guy and doesn't somehow get fucked. I don't even know the direction the series goes in, but I'm hoping he doesn't get fucked over.
いつもお世話になりっぱなしで。
And once the conversation suddenly veered off in that direction, we kids didn't have any chance of butting in. For now, I'm just happy Aunt Ava gave Dad his just desserts for tugging on my ear.
まだ天候調査中がなくならないね。
Jordan, he pointed at the counter. The checking weather sign was still stuck to the next departure times for the flight we were scheduled to board. According to Aniki, smaller planes are more subject to winds and other effects of the weather, and it's not all uncommon for flights to be delayed because of that. Wait a sec, we are totally sure it's not gonna shake, right? From down here on the ground, it looks cloudy, not windy. Well, I guess it's different up where planes fly.
ちょっと天気が怪しいものね。
On Eva, I like how I said Eva is my default and I am just oh. Okay, it said I disconnected. Am I back? Because it said I disconnected and I was really worried. Style switch pronunciation. Okay, so I am back. Alright. Aunt Eva looked at the TV and looked at a TV in the lounge. Stream says, yeah, it just told me OBS Studio disconnected and I got extremely concerned. Like, it reconnected within a couple seconds. I just sat there confused. But Aunt Eva looked at a TV in the lounge. The weather forecast was being broadcasted, informing us that a typhoon was approaching the Kanto region.
また台風か。親族会議が毎年10月ってんじゃ。これは宿命だぜ。もうちょい時期を選んでくれりゃいいのによ。
どうかね。私もお盆の時期にやってくれればっていっつも思うわよ。
You know what's funny about reading that is that, like, the past couple years, like, ever since 2016 during, like, I think, like, hurricane season, like, before then, at least where we live currently, and the area where we've been kind of living for the past 18 years of my life, we never really got it bad from, like, hurricane season. Like, as long as we've been living here for the most part, we haven't gotten it that bad. Starting with 2016, hurricane season would always fuck some part of southeastern South Carolina up, like, consistently, because, like, every year since then, minus last year, thank God, it was always just, nah, we gotta evacuate. And so for us, we just went to visit family in Atlanta, but just sitting there reading that, I'm just thinking, damn, we really got it bad for 4 whole fucking years in a row, and then 2020 said, nah, we already got COVID going on, you catch one break.
ならルドルフ、それ今回の会議でお父様と兄さんに提案してみればいいじゃない。
冗談。姉貴が言えよ。俺が何を言っても兄貴は聞かねえよ。
いやよ。私は別に10月でも困らないもの。ルドルフが台風が嫌だからって言うから提案したらって言っただけよ。
俺は台風が来るのはいつものことだなって言っただけだろ。
Another one? But Otter, what do you mean another one? Did my brain turn off and I missed something either in the game or in what I said? Because either or is highly likely to happen.
お盆の時期がいいって言い出したのは姉貴だぜ。
あら、去年ルドルフも言ったわよ。
Another bro. So I did miss something that was said in the game. Is there a backline? Okay, this is gonna be the part where the brain turns off and I'm gonna see what button no backlog. Okay, no way. So, recording on key small plant. Okay, which sector is not gonna shake? Oh, okay. She just said to father and Nissan during the conference. Very funny, why don't you do it yourself? Her brother would never listen to anything I suggested. No way, it really doesn't bother me that much to have it in October. I was just saying you might want to propose it since you said you hate typhoons so much. I only said that because typhoons always come around this time of year. You're the one who said you wanted to move it to the Obon Festival, right? Okay. So I didn't really miss anything. Okay. This is just another case of me being slow.
お盆の時期なら仕事のスケジュールとも合わせやすいのにって。
言ってねえだろ、そんなことよ。
言ったわよ。私、そういうのは絶対忘れないもん。
いや、言ってねえよ。言ってんのはいつも姉貴だよ。
知ってる？寸止めって高等技術なのよ。
ちぇ、いい年した女がはしたないことばっかしてんじゃねえぜ。
See, that is the sentence of your ass is getting beat frame 1. This is the sentence that enacts violence. Just if your comeback to any female is women your age shouldn't XYZ, your life is over. You've forfeited life. You've lost the game. Especially in anything Japanese, you've lost the game twice as hard. If he survives, it'll be a miracle. Dad and Aunt Ava's argument look no different from a couple brats quarrel.
普段は父親や母親として振る舞っていても、こうして親族会議で元の兄弟に出会うと、子供の頃の自分に戻っちゃうからだろうね。
と、冷静に分析できるジョージ兄貴の方がずっと大人に見えるぜ。俺は将来あんなクソ親父みたいにはなりたくないに。なるなら兄貴みたいな知的な大人になりたいもんだぜ。
僕かい？僕なんかまだまださ。社会経験が全然足りないし、社交性も度胸も足りない。バトラ君にはそれらのいくつかがすでにあるように思うよ。だからきっと成人したら僕なんかすぐに追い抜いちゃうさ。
George Aniki scratched his head and laughed, as though trying to hide his embarrassment. Of course, he was just being humble. Aniki entered a university and became an apprentice at Uncle Hideyoshi's company at the same time, studying both academics and how to become a business emperor in parallel. Then, right after graduating, he got into Uncle Hideyoshi's company as his father's aide, piling up a lot of real-life experience as he devoted himself zealously to work. His great dream is to one day stand on his own and build up his own kingdom. Aniki is a real paragon of a man, sparing no effort as he strives towards his goal. It's no exaggeration to say that I really respect him. And then there's me. I'm nothing at all like Aniki. I'm living my happy-go-lucky, idle high school life to the max. I've got no dreams for the future. I just like to sit back, stay cool, and let the money flow in, but of course, that could never happen. When Aniki was my age, he had already formed an impressive objective and started devoting himself towards studying for that goal, so I guess I can't compare at all. My dad just says, sure, you can study at my company if you like cleaning toilets. Damn it, I'm not gonna be in the debt of that old bastard. I'm gonna find my way myself. If only willpower was all it took to become an adult. Should I go on one of those self-searching journeys that are all the rage these days? Well, it's not like I can mooch off my parents for that kind of money. Right then, Uncle Hideyoshi shouted out loudly. He's a really nice person on the whole, but he does have a problem controlling the volume of his voice. When I looked over, I saw he was greeting Aunt Rosa, who had come late.
Oh!
There he is!
餃子さんやないかマリアちゃん久しぶりやの
久しぶり
Kissy, you're the child from the intro.
マリア、お久しぶりです。でしょ？言ってごらん。
Okay, you are in the fighting game.
おお
Fighting game with the fucking gun.
お久しぶりです。
そうやよく言えたなご褒美に飴玉あげようなおっとあれどこにしまったんや
ローザさん、お久しぶりです。マリアちゃんもお久しぶり。ご無沙汰してます、キリエ姉さん、秀吉兄さん。あら、バトラ君？大きくなったわね。
いや今日は会うたびに言われてて恥ずかしいっすよ。
You know, it's better to, for me, it's better to hear, man, you're tall than, hey, do you play sports? Because as someone who's been over 6 feet since the age of 12, hearing, do you play sports, gets me unreasonably upset every time. Because I'm sitting there like, I'm not a sports guy, I respect people who are, I have friends that are into sports, I'm just not. I'm admittedly kind of a waste of the height. I'm being honest, if I'm being completely honest. And they're like, nah, man, it's all good, me. Yeah, height that I get hit in the head with walking through the house sometimes. It's great.
おう、ローザ。遅かったな。飛行機がダイヤ通りだったらギリギリってとこだったぜ。
ごめんなさい。列車の接続がうまくいかなくて。なに？また天候調査中なの？
ぼやかないぼやかない。船で6時間も揺られるくらいなら飛行機でほんの30分の方がずっとマシよ。たとえ1時間余計に待たされたって全然早いんだから。
マリアちゃんも大きくなったで今身長いくつあるんや
身長いくつあるんや
Maria-chan parroted Uncle Hideyoshi's question, looking up at her mother. I guess she doesn't remember her own height. She's probably right in the middle of a growth spurt, so her height must change every month. Give it a few more years and she'll suddenly start looking feminine.
この間の身体測定でいくつって出たっけ？これでも少しずつは伸びてるんですよ。ねえ。 去
I'm
年
gonna
より
feel
もず
so
っと
bad
成
if she
長した
turns
と思
out
い
to
ま
be a
すよ。
demon child, I swear to God. Just I look at her, that's precious. She's gonna kill everyone, isn't she?
今年で9歳でしたっけ？
You can tell through Higurashi the writer has heard me enough where I expect, hey yo, I expect characters who don't seem like they would kill to murder.
9歳
No, I did not want to open that.
そうだね。9歳だね。マリアちゃんも元気そうでよかった。
Oh god, not another one, never mind. Not another 9-year-old. I already, that one exists in my life and I'm not a fan of it.
よいしょ。もう高い高いをするにはちょっと重くなってきたかな。
うわ、ジョージ兄貴、そりゃレディに失礼だろ。俺がやってやるぜ。高い高い。
When I lift her up in Anaki's place, Maria stiffened defensively, staring suspiciously at my face. Ah, that's right. Last time I met Maria, it was 6 years ago, and she was only 3 years old. Of course she doesn't remember my face.
マリアちゃん、覚えてる？バトラ君よ。一緒に遊んでもらったの忘れちゃった？
無理だろう。最後にバトラと会ったのは3つの時だぜ。3つの時の記憶なんか残ってねえよ。
Something funny is that I can kind of prove that wrong. Because there's some vivid memories I've had from when I was like 2 to 3. Back when my family lived in California at a point. Like 2 fucking distinct ones too. A, I had a friend named Charlie who lived not even that fucking far. B, when we still lived in California, that was the first time I ever got a Game Boy Advance. And I know my dad also bought like Ready to Rumble Round 2 for the PS2. Like my brain, you don't retain memories at 3 years old. Me out here proving that's active bullshit. Me out here proving that's active bullshit. That or I'm simply built slightly different. So it's no surprise that this 9-year-old girl doesn't have any memories of me. Even I can only just barely remember her being a 3-year-old crybaby.
マリア、バトラお兄ちゃんよ。ルドルフおじさんの息子さん。わかる？兄さんの息子さんが、兄さんが息子さん。
The brother is the son. That sounds probably her brain going into overload. Not that complicated explanation. I guess the phrasing of that was a bit confusing. Ni or Oni, the title that you would refer to an actual brother. The title you use to refer to an actual older brother can also be a friendly honorific for a boy who's only a bit older than you. It's just like ne or one for the word big sister. The word for big sis.
Maria-chan.
The brain is rearranging words today.
彼はバトラ君。僕と同じいとこだよ。
庄司お兄ちゃんと同じ？
Windows is loading.
バトラ？いとこ。
そう。よくできたね。
This part of Aniki is what really makes me really look up to him. For someone who isn't married, he's just great at dealing with kids. I'm sure he'll be an indulgent father in the future.
ちゃん
Real straight at me with a questioning expression, as though asking whether it was okay to call me that.
おうや、俺がバトラだ。よろしくな、マリア。
バトラこらマリア、呼びつけちゃダメでしょ。バトラお兄ちゃんと呼びなさい。
いいっすよ、ローザおばさん。細かいことは気にしないっすから。まあマリア、俺とお前は名前を呼びつけ合う仲だもんな。
バトラバトラバトラ
おや、マリアマリアマリア。うう
We horsed around for a while to make up for the 6-year gap in our friendship. She probably thinks of me as nothing more than a big new friend, but things will probably work out as we get to know each other again. But I'm surprised. She's just the way I remembered her being 6 years ago. Seems that people just don't change that much after all. I'm a bit happy that she's still the pure innocent girl I remember. How fast till this ages poorly. Her name is written, of course, is pronounced Maria. The third character looks like a cross, which is pretty cool. Her feelings don't usually show up on her face, so it can be difficult to know just what she's thinking. But that's just how she looks on the outside. On the inside, she's just a sweet, normal girl. Then there's Maria's mother, Aunt Rosa. She's my dad's younger sister. Rosa's written... Here's a name that's totally non-Japanese. Sorry to say it, but her name's almost as ridiculous as Dad's. Ah, yes. As ridiculous as Battler and Rudolph. Rosa. A pretty basic and short name. I get it's by Japanese standards, but fucking Rosa. I've gotta respect her for not ending up as screwed up as he is. When I think about it, all the names in my family sound foreign. Just why is grandfather so obsessed with that? Because of him, even we grandchildren have to put up with this weird naming sense. It's even more annoying since grandfather's own name is perfectly normal. Anyway, there's one thing about Aunt Rosa that's a relief compared to the other family members. They old bastard and Aunt Eva have this annoying urge to tease and mock people all the time. But even though she shares their blood, Aunt Rosa isn't like that at all. She has the most common sense among all the siblings. Like Uncle Hideyoshi, she's a kind aunt who will always be on the kid's side. However, possibly because she's more strict as a parent, she's not liberal with handing out spending money like Uncle Hideyoshi. Okay. Now we have the entire group of family members who are going to board the plane. At that moment, as though it had waited for us all to arrive, an announcement rang out through the lobby.
お待たせしました。新島行き201便の搭乗をこれより開始いたします。ご搭乗のお客様はカウンター前の白線前に2列でお並びください。
ロザ、搭乗手続きまだだろ。急げ急げ。
いけない。マリア、いらっしゃい。
We had to go through a metal detector before going out on the runway. Our small plane wasn't as massive as an international flight, but it was still a plane. A staff member holding a metal detector checked us all. Once all of us cleared the check, we followed the staff member out into the runway. Come to think of it, everyone here is in the Ushiramiya family. It's like this is a reserved charter flight or something. Our group stopped in front of the entrance to the airplane. Then our guide turned around and spoke. looking down at the passenger list as he did.
それではこれよりご登場となります。名簿をお読み上げいたしますので、前方の座席右側から順に右左、次のそれではお読み上げいたします。後宮秀吉様。
わしからか。はい。そうだ、エヴァ。飴玉あるか。さっきから探してるんだが見つからないんや。
後宮エヴァ様。
ハンドバッグの中よ。機内に入ったら出すわ。
I've heard that candies are a good way to protect your ears from hurting because of variations in atmospheric pressure when landing or taking off. That's probably what they were talking about.
俺の席窓際だといいな。
大丈夫だよ。窓際席しかないもん。
As George Aniki said, there were apparently only 2 lines of seats. So this is what a small plane is like. We are totally sure it's not gonna shake, right?
後宮ジョージ様。
はい。大丈夫だよ、バトラ君。あんまり揺れないから。
後宮バトラ様。
兄貴、あんまりってどのくらいだよ。船から落ちても泳げるからいいが、飛行機が落ちたらそれでおしまいなんだぜ。もちろん客席にはパラシュートがあるんだろ。ねえの。
後宮ルドルフ様。
ほらバトラ、感動してねえでとっとと奥行け。
言ってよ親父。おさってパラシュートがねえんだよ。
後宮桐江様。
We don't get
ほら
parachute.
仲良くじゃれてないの。進む進む。
言ってよキリエ。押すなって。ボンクラが進まねえんだよ。
後宮マリア様。
進む進む。
後宮ローザ様。
こらマリア、静かにしなさい。
こちらは機長の川端です。
Oh, you can just use the mouse wheel for backlog.
本日
Okay.
は新東京航空201便をご利用いただき誠にありがとうございます。新島空港までは約20分のフライトの予定です。上空の気流が乱れているとの報告が入っています。多少の揺れがあるかもしれませんので、離陸後もシートベルトは外さないようにお願いいたします。
兄貴、シートベルト外しちゃいけない揺れってなんだよ。ジャンボ機なら離陸後はシートベルト外せるぜ。それが外しちゃいけないってどんな揺れだよ。くそー、騙された。何が揺れないだ。パラシュートはどこだよ。やっぱり俺は船が良かった。
Legend of the Golden Witch. Shiramia Balor. Shiramia George, Shiramia Jessica, and Shiramia Maria. Shiramia Kenzo, Shiramia Kraus, Shiramia Eva, Shiramia Natsuhi, and Hideyoshi. I'm just gonna start reading the first names. Rudolph, Rosa, Carrie. Nanjo Teramasa, Shannon, Goda Toshiro, Runoe Genji, Kanon, Kumasawa Chiyo. So I guess it's all the character names. Umineko no Nakukoro ne, Rondo of the Witch in Reasoning.
Hmm. やっぱ船だよな。船。
落ちる。落ちる。
マリア、もういい加減になさい。でも意外ね。バトラ君、てっきり怖いものなしだと思ってたから。
こいつ昔から乗り物がなぜかダメでさ。二言目には落ちるだの沈むだの。情けない男だな、おめえは。
うるへえ。ありゃさすがに揺れすぎだろう。小型機乗るのは初めてだったからちょいと答えちまっただけだぜ。
あの大騒ぎでちょいとなの？バトラ君とは海外旅行を一緒に行くと賑やかそうね。おばさんとエジプトとか行かない？ 14 時間も飛行機に乗れるわよ。
いい提案ね。バトラ君、エヴァ姉さんに少し鍛えてもらいなさいよ。
Ayo suffer for the culture, fam. It's
それ
fine.
にしてもおかしい。
こらこら、人間誰しも得て増えてはあるもんや。そない笑うたら悪いで。
父さんも笑うのは悪いよ。ほら、マリアちゃんももう笑っちゃダメ。
もう笑っちゃダメ？
Yeah, damn it. Is being scared of planes really such a big deal? Everyone obviously thinks I'm a big oaf now. We split up and took separate taxis from the airport to the harbor. From there on, we would be taking a boat to the island. The islands are right next to each other, so the distance of the trip wasn't that great. By boat, it was a leisurely 30 minutes to the island. When we reached the pier where the boat to the island was anchored, we saw a figure waving at us. You are also in the fighting game.
お久しぶりだぜ。
いやあ、ジェシカちゃん、1年ぶりだね。また伸びたんじゃないかい？
よしてくれよ。毎年言われんのは恥ずかしいぜ。
おいおい兄貴、嘘だろ。こいつが本当にジェシカなのかよ。
ってことはジョージ兄さん、このデカブツバトラなのかよ。
We both stared at each other. She definitely didn't look like that in my memories, but I do remember her crazy way of talking.
いいよジェシカ。なんだよお前。嘘だろ。なーに女みたいな格好してんだよ。なんだよこれ、胸かよ。お前にも胸なんかできたのかよ。もませろもませろーい。
So this is what Sosuke meant by he's weird. Oh no.
ふざけやがれ。私は花も恥じらう18だぜ。髪だって伸びりゃ出るとこだって出るぜ。てめえにもませる胸なんざあるもんかい。バトラこそなんだよ。バカみてえに図体だけでかくなりやがって。知った腕力ついたのか？
ざげんじゃねえ。あれからどれだけ鍛錬積んだか思い知らせてやんぜ。
うぜえぜ。
Wait, fight? This headstrong girl's name is... You know, there's only so many fake demonic sounds I can make before I realize I'm running out of them. She was born under the same unlucky star as me, sharing the same kind of weird name. Again, Battler and Rudolph are literally the weirdest names in the family so far. Anyway, it's pronounced as Jessica. She's Dad's older brother's daughter. She's Dad's older brother's daughter. That older brother happens to be the oldest of the Ushiromiya family, so for now it means Jessica is the direct family heir. No, I did not want to open PPS's PP computer. Since Jessica and I are the same age, it's a whoa. And sometimes had little boy and girl squabbles with each other, we've always been used to fighting and joking around together whenever relatives gather. Jessica grew more quickly, so she always beat me in terms of size and physical strength. When we scuffled in a contest of strength, it usually went Jessica's way. So even though I realized I'd grown bigger, part of my mind was still convinced I couldn't beat Jessica.
おいおいおい、全然力入れてねえぜ。ジェシカ、お前貧弱になっただろ。
What he fucking suplex? They just went, yo, fight me right now. Word, German suplex frame 1. Command.
うるせえぜ。
Command grab. For no reason.
こちとら女やってんだ。いつまでも腕力で男に勝てるわけねえだろ。
まあ、そりゃそうだよな。俺が腕につけた分の肉を、お前は胸につけたんだもんな。俺の腕とお前の胸なら、ちょうどいい力比べになりそうじゃねえのか。
だからお前に揉ませる父はねえ。それより、お前こそどうなんだよ。身長以外にも他のところ、ちゃんと大人になったのか。
バカやめろ、いやん、この野郎お嫁に行けなくなる。変なとこ触んないで。
人様が聞いて誤解すること言うんじゃねえ。
Honestly, I was so surprised at how feminine Jessica had become that I had to joke around like an idiot to hide it. Well, considering what a bossy brat she was 6 years ago, anyone would be surprised. And I guess she's just as surprised. She probably wasn't expecting to lose to me in a test of strength. After losing that easily, she must be shocked at how much I've grown in the past 6 years. 6 years. Once again, I'm being shown what a huge gap of time that was.
やれやれ、乾杯だぜ。こりゃもう私じゃかなわねえな。
そんなことないよ。バトラ君にもきっと弱点はあるよ。ね、マリアちゃん。
落ちる落ちる。
ちょ、バカよせマリア。それは内緒にしような。
落ちる？なんだそりゃ。
あいにくだが、この弱点はジェシカにはもうさらさないぜ。
Anytime I hear a character do that laugh, I just imagine Joe from KOF pulling out the fucking belt. Just points at the belt.
何しろ、悪夢の空路はもう終わっちまったんだからな。あとはのんびりチャボチャボとお船の旅さ。あのオンボロ漁船がこれほど恋しくなるとは思わなかったぜ。
ああ？ジョージ兄さん、こいつ頭どうかしたのか？
すぐにわかるよ。
You'll understand soon.
すぐにね。
Very soon. At the time, I didn't get what Aniki meant by that big smile.
これはこれは。はあ。バトラさんも大きくなりまして。
Who is it this time? It's an old lady with an apron. Oh yeah, that takes me back. I remember now.
バトラ君、覚えてるかい？ほら、お手伝いの熊沢さんだよ。
熊沢のばあちゃんは忘れねえぜ。何しろこの6年ちっとも老けちゃいねえぜ。むしろ若返ったんじゃねえの？
最近はお肌がピチピチしてきちゃって。ほら、胸もますますに大きくなっちゃいましたんですよ。
No, I don't like this. Go away.
揉んでみます？
No. This is what we not finna do. This is what we never finna do. This is what we never finna do in our lives, man. No. This. No. Nah. No. This is really what we not finna do.
ご冗談。
Even as a joke, that's not what we finna do. We don't do that around here.
俺が揉みたいのはピチピチした姉ちゃんの胸限定だぜ。
We don't do it around here either, nigga. You ain't safe.
私とて若い日にはそれはピチピチしており
We
まし
don't
たよ。
do that here.
ほらほら、ぜひどうぞお揉みくださいませ。
We do not.
ひょー、勘弁してくれよ。若い姉ちゃんだ、若い姉ちゃん。熊沢のばあちゃんじゃねえよ。
Jokes they cracked about Jessica were being turned against me. Come to think of it, Kumasawa has always been the type to tease people.
おいおいよせよ熊沢さん。監獄に半分足突っ込んだ人がはしゃいじゃいけねえぜ。
若い方とじゃれるのが何よりの若返りの薬ですよ。
熊沢さんが迎えに来るなんて珍しいじゃない。どういう風の吹き回しかしら。用事を頼まれるといつも腰痛になるあなたが。
エヴァ様は相変わらず手厳しゅうございます。急なお買い物がありましたもので、そのついでに皆様のお迎えをしようと思いまして。もっともお迎え待ちの老いぼれのお迎えでは景気も悪いでしょうが。
Aniva spoke sarcastically. There it is, brain. Spoke sarcastically, but Kumasawa Ba-chan's years of experience were nothing to sneeze at. She was more than capable of smoothly and coolly deflecting that comment. Well, it feels bad to say, but old Kumasawa Ba-chan may be past her prime as a servant. She might act as though she's in good health, but between the headaches and her lumbago, her body's wearing out. To tell the truth, the very fact that she's still working is impressive. How old is she this year again? She must be pushing 80 at least. It's incredible that she's still able to act so cheerily.
ますますにお元気なようで。そうだこれ。前に話してたお茶です。ほら、買ってきました。後で飲んでみてください。
Aunt Rosa took out a souvenir bag from her suitcase. To think that she remembered a promise that she'd apparently made last year and faithfully bought it. This sort of thoughtfulness was just like Aunt Rosa. She wasn't the kind of person who would forget or break a promise. Kumasawa Ba-chan seemed deeply touched, not only that Aunt Rosa had remembered this year-old promise, but that she would bring a gift to a simple servant like her. This woman is Kumasawa Chiyo-san. She's a senior servant who's been working with the Ushiramiya head family household for many years. As you'd expect from someone her age, manual labor isn't her strong point, but she's kind of a super servant who can handle just about anything else, from kitchen work to cleaning and laundry. It seems like her only flaw is a tendency to slack off. I hear she tries to get away from heavy or troublesome work by playing up her chronic diseases. In Kumasawa-Bachan's case, this was probably a sign of craftiness rather than laziness, though it probably doesn't impress those paying her salary. Ah well, even if she's pretty flaky when it comes to work, I can never dislike her. I guess it's probably because of her cheerfulness and constant smile.
いやー、相変わらずお元気そうで何よりでんな。あれから背中の具合はどないでっか？
薬を飲んでもちっとも良くなりませんで、こればかりはお医者様ではどうにもなりません。不治の病っちゅうもんですわ。
それにしてもジェシカちゃんはますます美人になったな。夏日姉さんに似てよかったぜ。
そうですか？
And I missed the line. Anyway, just she takes after Natsuki Nisan. Okay. Ne-san.
私的には全然似てないつもりなんですけど。つうか、親には似たくないです。尊敬してないんで。
こら、そんなこと言っちゃダメよ。それにしても親に似たくないって言ってる人が多いわね、うちの一族は。
あ、それ俺。
Oh, that's me.
バカ言え。お前こそ俺に似るんじゃねえ。お前の鼻が似ててムカつくんだよ。
何言ってんのよ。呆れるくらいそっくりよ。あなたもお父様もね。
おいおい、そりゃねえだろ。俺のどこが親父に似てるってんだ？
傲慢で偉そうなところとかそっくりよ。あんたと兄さんは特にお父様の血が強いわね。ねえローザ。
That expression. Wait. That expression. That expression. That fucking expression. That threw me off. Wait. Checking everything real quick. See what
クラウス兄さんもルドルフ兄さんも信じられないくらいお父様にそっくり。
おいおい、参った。
Oh shit.
なんで俺だけ女どもに集中放火なんだ？秀吉兄さん、助けてくださいよ。
That one. Having
い
a
やい
fucking.
や、ルドルフ君はいっつも女性にモテてるな。
I didn't screenshot that, but I'm having a fucking fit over
羨
here.
ましいで。
相変わらずモテモテでお羨ましいことです。それでは皆様、お船の方へお乗りくださいませ。さあさあ、マリアさん、一緒にお船に乗りましょうね。
一緒にお船に乗る。みんなも一緒に乗る。
おや、もう今度は怖くないぜ。波で揺れるのは慣れてるしな。あのオンボロ漁船の場合、揺れて怖いってよりエンジンがぶっ壊れて漂流するんじゃねえかって方が怖いぜ。
そうだ、バトラ君。言うのを忘れてた。 あの漁船はだいぶ老朽化してたんで数年前に引退したんだよ。今は他の船が島まで運んでくれるんだ。
ああ、そっか。バトラは新しい船が初めてなんだな。快適だぜ。すっげえ速いんだ。何しろとんでもないスピードが出るんだからさ。
ほう。ってことは船旅の時間がさらに短縮されたわけか。そりゃ素晴らしい。何しろ飛行機よりマシとはいえ沈没の危険にさらされる時間が少しでも短くなるってんだから、こりゃ極めて素晴らしいぜ。
バトラはまた落ちる落ちる。
Nobody tell him.
そりゃ飛行機の時だけさ。もう大丈夫だぜ。
Top 10 nobody tell him moments.
何しろ船長自慢の改造高速艇らしいぜ。だいぶいじってるらしく、プロペラは高性能のが4機もついてて最高速度は40ノットを超えるとかなんとか自慢してたな。いつも自慢されるんで覚えちまったぜ。
僕も毎年聞かされるんで覚えちゃったよ。船長は昔外国の漁船と速度比べをして負けて以来スピード改造に取りつかれちゃったんだってさ。その時の相手は漁船なのに30ノット以上も出せたんだってね。
Damn.
その雪辱の念が結実してスカッと爽快な超高速改造艇の誕生となったわけさ。バトラもきっと気に入るぜ。
Super high speed modded boat. My first thought was that this would be much better than a beat up boat that might sink at any moment. But for some reason, I got this feeling foreboding. The popular sport of foreboarding. Probably just overthinking it.
おいバトラー、島までは泳いで行った方がいいんじゃねえか。
バトラ君、柵からあんまり身を乗り出しちゃダメだよ。落ちちゃうから。
落ちる。
チェックしろー。さっきからみんながニヤニヤ笑ってたのはこれだったのか。
So this is the super high-speed boat the captain started modding. Oh yes, that piece of junk from 6 years ago doesn't hold a candle to this guy.
揺れる揺れる揺れる。落ちる落ちる落ちる。
落ちる落ちる落ちる。
落ちたら海じゃねえかよ。溺れちまうぞ。パラシュートだじゃねえぜ。浮き輪はどこだ。ライフジャケットをくれ。
なんだよバトラー、おめえそれ何の真似だよ。
ジェシカちゃんもマリアちゃんもいじめちゃ悪いって。バトラ君も怖いなら甲板に出なきゃいいのに。船内ならもう少し怖くないと思うけどな。
そいつはサンキューだぜ兄貴。海難事故の犠牲者はいつも船内なんだ。生存者を抱いて事故時は甲板なんだぜ。だから俺はここにいる。でも揺れる。落ちる。ふわふわ。
揺れる。落ちる。
マリア、よしなさいったら。でもバトラ君、本当に苦手なのね。船長さんに速度を落とすように言ってきてあげるわ。
ローザおばさんありがとう。 海の上でも安全運転徐行運転指差し確認。
ダメよローザ。青年には試練も必要なんだから。ねえバトラ君。
Oh,
これくらいへっちゃらで克服できちゃうわよね。
thought it crashed.
じゃないとおばさんとエジプトに行けないわよ。
うおー、エヴァおばさんの意地悪。ダメ落ちる。ライフジャケットパラシュート。ふいや、ひっくり返して考えるんだ。敵の狙いは何だ。俺をこうして怖がらせることか。そいつが狙いなら甘いぜ。ビビってなんかやるもんか。でもダメ。落ちる。
It feels. So after I made a huge fool of myself for a while, Aunt Rosa had a talk with the boat captain, and they slowed down the boat to a more manageable speed for me.
これくらいならなんとか。さっきのは生きた心地がしなかったぜ。
Apparently, the max speed I can tolerate is extremely slow. But that just now was completely insane. The whole boat was shaking, sliding and leaping on the ocean's surface. Felt like I was riding on the back of a flying fish. Jessica was still guffawing at me as I leaned against the railing, tired and disheartened.
さっきは力比べで負けたけどよ。もっと重要な部分で負けてなかったことが分かって私は嬉しいぜ。いやしかし
She really looked at him and said, "Hey yo, I lost that strength contest, but I'm not a bitch."
くっそー。好きなだけ笑えよ。いつか弱点を見つけ返しててめえの胸揉みつぶしてやるぜ。
It was fine, and then you ended that sentence.
見つけられたら考えてやるぜ。
バトラヘロヘロ。
All week.
ああ、バトラヘロヘロだ。海も空もごめんだぜ。俺は陸の上で死にたいさ。
Maria was patting my back, so I patted her head in return. Her expression was blank as usual, but I realized that she wanted to console me.
バトラ君、船長が罪滅ぼしにってドリンクをサービスしてくれたよ。飲んで一服しないかい？落ち着くよ。
Jordanaki and Kumasawa Banchan brought us ice cold cans of soft drink covered in beads of water. Judging from Kumasawa-san's big grin, our parents inside the boat were probably rolling around laughing at my moment of pure terror. Damn it, I'm so embarrassed. Can't bear to face any of them. If I didn't change the subject, somehow I had the feeling I'd be the butt of everyone's jokes for the whole trip, so I tried to think of something harmless to talk about.
ああ、ジェシカ。クラウスおじさんと夏日おばさんは元気なのかよ。
親父とおふくろ？残念ながら元気だね。
Unfortunately, they're fine.
二言目には勉強しろ勉強しろってうるせえけどよ。秀吉おじさんとかルドルフおじさんとかそういうこと言わなそうだから羨ましいぜ。
とんでもない。僕も受験を控えてた頃はいっつも受験って言われてたよ。うるさくも思ったけど今は感謝してるよ。
はあ、やっぱりジョージ兄貴は人間ができてるな。ちなみにうちは絶賛放任中だからな。なんにも言われないぜ。 まあ言われたって聞かねえけどな。
バトラさんはまだご実家には戻られておられないのですか？
うん、まあちょくちょく戻るようには。まだ服とかだいぶ前の家に残してるんで。
おお、バトラ、お家が2つある？
まあな。
どうしてお家が2つ？
Why do you have two houses? Why are you I had to get one in. I had to get one in.
おお。
Had to get one why are you white meme in there.
おお。
Only Maria who couldn't grasp the situation, voiced this naive question. However, the others just shot nervous glances at me, choosing not to respond, even though they knew the answer.
マリア、ほら、船着き場が見えてきたぜ。ほら、あれ、見えるか？
船着き場見えた！船着き場見えた！
Apparently, Jessica was trying to be nice by changing the subject. Oh, well. Rather not talk about it if I can help it, but it's uncomfortable to have it treated like some sort of weird taboo. I don't mind it that much myself anymore. Maybe a member of the Ushiramiya family, but the truth is that for these last 6 years I've been living with my grandparents on my late mother's side, and I've even been using her family name. When those grandparents passed away one after the other, I basically had no choice but to go back and live with the old bastard. Don't get me wrong, I didn't just run away from home or anything like that. The only one at fault here is my dad. I don't really blame Kyrie-san. Being able to hold that old bastard's reins and ride him out is no mean feat. Still, the way that old bastard betrayed my mom, well, unfortunately, I still haven't fully gotten over that.
もうすぐ着くね。
George Aniki cleared his throat, trying to change the subject.
失礼しました。年寄りが余計なことを言ってしまったようで、お気に障りましたら。
気にもしてないし触ってもないぜ。気にすんなよ、熊沢のばあちゃん。
Kumasawa-san seemed to regret speaking out of turn, but I was more concerned about being worried over for something like that. So I stood up and passed it off lightly. After that, I had a sip of my drink and headed over to Maria and Jessica, who were gazing at the silhouette of the island.
バトラ、島が見えた！島が見えた！あれあれあれ！
どれどれ？おお、見えてきたな。6年ぶりでも記憶と寸分変わらない島影だぜ。
The small island silhouette in front of us had gotten pretty close. The island's name was Rokenjima. It was a small island around 10 kilometers around, located in the Izu archipelago. Since they call this archipelago the Izu 7, lots of people think there are only 7 islands, but that's not true. There's actually several more, and Rokenjima is one of the minor islands that don't get counted. Even if that weren't the case, I doubt you'd find many people who knew about this island. Only people connected to the Ushiramiya family ever go there. In other words, outsiders and tourists never have any reason to care about it. So, you'll never find this island's name in a travel brochure. After all of Rokenjima is an estate possessed by the Ushiramiya family. And only the family lives there, and only people connected to the family come and go to and from there. There's nothing there except a harbor and a mansion. The vast majority of the island is still just uncultivated forest. Such a waste when it could be made into a nice golf course or something. However, when you realize the entire coastline is a private beach, it starts to sound pretty magnificent. You've probably guessed by now, but to put it simply, Well, the Ushiramiya family is just rolling in dough. The head family apparently possesses a vast fortune, and Dad and the others who make up the branch families have built up plenty of wealth for themselves, finding success in their respective businesses. I've been living a commoner's life at my grandparents' home these 6 years, so I'd completely forgotten. But the old bastard's house really is elegant, and everything about it is tuned to match the snobbish taste of the annoyingly rich. Come to think of it, I guess that makes George, Ike, Jessica, Maria, and me wealthy, high-class gentlemen and ladies. Needless to say, none of us think of ourselves that way at all. I don't see myself as being rich, and George Aniki, who takes self-discipline seriously, doesn't let himself get too comfortable. Jessica is always complaining she'd rather move to the city than be rich. And Maria is still a kid who isn't even interested in money at all. Does that attitude really make us any less snobbish? From the perspective of people in poverty who can't pay the bills, we really have been blessed a lot. This isn't the place to explain further, so I won't. Anyway, it's the same as not being able to choose the parents you're born from. I didn't ask to be born into a rich family, and I don't really think it's something to be envied. It can be pretty trying when people are prejudiced against you just because you're rich and refusing to judge you by your merits. As I pondered these sentimental thoughts, Maria started shouting and leaned over the railing.
Nai.
どうしたんだよ、マリア。何か落としちゃったのか？
Maria kept yelling, "Gone, gone." At first, it sounded like she dropped something, but while she shouted, she pointed out over the ocean.
どうしたの？何がないんだい？僕も探してあげるよ。何？ん？
If she dropped something, she probably would have looked down at the floor, but Maria was pointing out over the ocean. One would assume by that gesture that she had spotted something, but she kept saying something wasn't there. Strange. However, since my last memories of this place come from 6 years ago, I was able to spot it before Aniki, who comes here every year.
確かさ、この辺の小さい岩の上に鳥居みたいなのがなかったっけ？そうだ、確かにあったぜ。島に近づいてくると最初に迎えてくれる目印みたいなもんだったからよく覚えてるぜ。
へえ、バトラすごいじゃねえか。6年ぶりなのによく覚えてるもんだぜ。
あったね。僕も思い出したよ。鎮守の社と鳥居みたいなものが岩の上にポツンと立ててあったよ。そういえばないね。去年は確かにあったと思う。
ない
大方波か何かでさらわれちまったんだろ。小さい岩だったしな。だいぶ風化で脆くなってたんだろうさ。
私もそうだと思ってるんだけどよ。亡くなっちゃったのはこの夏のことなんだよ。なんでもよ、
ある晩に大きな稲妻が落ちてお社を砕いてしまったんだとか。鎮守様に落雷があるなど、これは不吉の兆しに違いないと。くわばらくわばら。
Kumasawa-san smiled ambitiously as if teasing us, rubbing her hands together while intoning a Japanese phrase meant to ward off lightning. However, Maria apparently took this seriously and stared fixedly over the ocean to where the crag housing the shrine god was supposed to be.
不吉の兆し。
よせよ熊沢さん。マリアはそういう冗談の通じない年頃なんだからさ。
大丈夫だよマリアちゃん。偶然だよ。何も怖いことなんか起きないよ。
Top 10 lines that age poorly. Here we go. Giordaniki put a hand on Maria's shoulder to calm her down, but Maria's sharp-eyed expression didn't waver. Maria muttered that word over and over. Apparently, repeating a single word over and over is a habit Maria's had for a long time. However, since the word she was saying was literally an ill omen, it was a bit creepy.
おいおいマリア、そんなに何度も繰り返してたら本当に不吉がやってきちまうぜ。
I tapped Maria's other shoulder. Maria whipped her head around, stared into my face, and spoke unblinkingly. Oh God.
不吉来る。
来るってどこからさ。
I answered lightheartedly, trying to break the tension in the air. At that moment, Maria held up a finger and raised her arm high, pointed up to the heavens. When I looked up, I saw that the sky was still just as cloudy, but it had grown a great deal more leaden than it had been this morning. That's right. They were saying that a typhoon was approaching. We had planned to spend one night on the island, but if the storm doesn't pass quickly, I won't be able to make it to school on Monday. Well, I guess it makes for a pretty good excuse to be absent. She apparently sensed some kind of misfortune in this cloudy sky. She's been muttering that non-stop for a while now. Girls of Maria's age tend to be very impressionable. She's just about the age that many girls start to get excited about sixth senses and whether they have psychic potential and stuff. For all we know, this might be due to her childish, sensitive nature.
大丈夫だよマリアちゃん。天気は今夜くらいには崩れるかもしれないけど、明日には良くなって綺麗な青空になってるよ。
綺麗な青空。
そう、明日になれば綺麗な青空になるよ。止まない雨はないし、晴れない雲だってない。
止まない雨、晴れない雲。
確かに台風が近づいてるけどよ、すぐに過ぎちまうって。大丈夫さマリア。
Maria started yelling, "Ooh!" It looked as though she was having a tantrum because no one would understand what she was trying to say. What in the world is Maria trying so desperately to warn us about? You know, I picked it up frame one. She's saying, hey, we need to turn this boat around and leave. I feel like I get the whole thing of what is the child doing, but at a point I just sit there like, bro, the island's clearly different. Some shit has gone down in the past 6 years. Maybe it's a good idea to not. Unable to understand her, we couldn't help but feel a vague sense of misfortune. I've heard that everybody can feel the supernatural, but that it weakens as you age. That might mean that Maria, the youngest of us all, still possessed some kind of sense that the rest of us had lost. I wonder if that sense is sending her a warning. At that moment, Kumasawa-san quietly opened her mouth.
なんでも六軒島はその昔。
熊沢さん、その話はなしにしようぜ。
Since Kumasawa-san was about to tell some kind of story, Jessica sharply interrupted her. Jessica's tone was extremely firm for her. I wanted to push her further just out of simple curiosity, but judging by the look on Jessica's face, whatever Kumasawa-chan was likely to say would probably make Maria even more uneasy. If I did try to press her for the story, the odds were pretty good that it wouldn't be anything bright and cheery.
それは申し訳ございませんね。ここの風は年寄りには応えますんで、ちょっと失礼させていただきます。
So I'm now realizing you can down scroll on the mouse wheel to advance text. Visual novel tech, here we go. Gossipers have no reason to hang around after they've been told to stop chatting. When Kumasawa-san finally realized she'd overstepped her bounds, she went back inside the boat. After she left, Uncle Hideyoshi showed up at her place. Since he'd arrived mid-conversation, he completely failed to notice the complicated atmosphere that hung around about the scene. So he refreshingly and unwittingly swept that atmosphere aside. So in the end, it was his lack of tact that brightened the mood. Good old Chad. Good old Chad doesn't understand that goddamn thing. I don't understand a goddamn thing, but let's not do this.
今日はのんびりスピードだから時間がかかってもうたわ。誰のせいやねん。
うわ、秀吉おじさんもう勘弁してくださいよ。
もっと言ってやってください。
Jessica, you bully him.
たく、バトラのせいで時間かかりすぎだぜ。
She really just said you'll bully him. Maria probably thought everyone was refusing to listen to her. She hung her head, wearing a fretful expression. As she did, George Aniki crouched down to meet her eyes and spoke to her kindly.
マリアちゃん、何も怖くないよ。だって僕たちが一緒だもの。
There's only so many times I can make the joke of lines that'll probably age poorly.
一緒だと何も怖くないんだよ。
There's only so many times, George.
言ってごらん。
一緒だと何も怖くない。
There's nothing to be afraid of if we're all together. He just rips his arm off frame one. The wind just takes his whole arm off.
一緒だと何も怖くない。
Hold this out. Everything will be fine. Decapitation.
そうさ、ジョージの兄貴の言う通りだぜ。俺たちが一緒にいるといつだって何だって絶対に怖くねえんだな、ジェシカ。
ああ、間違いないぜ。ジョージ兄さんの言うことはいつも本当だよ、マリア。
ジョージお兄ちゃんはいつも本当。
僕は嘘をつかないよ。だから信じて。みんなと一緒にいれば何も怖くないんだよ。
It's only so many times I could say it.
ジョージお兄ちゃんは嘘をつかない。信じる。みんなと一緒にいれば怖くない。怖くない。みんなと一緒だからもう怖くない。
ああ、そうだぜ。もう平気みたいだな。マリアは強いな。偉いぜ。
マリア偉い。
なんや、どうしたんや。マリアちゃん、船酔いだったんか。ん？
まあそんなとこです。申し訳つきますね。
The harbor was already drawing near. Once they reached the harbor, I'd say, okay, this is the... Okay, that's what I was waiting for, because I was sitting there like, want to save this fucking game. So it's 10:30? Yeah, 10:30. Alright, so how do I system save? There we go. Alright, so I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm interested in what's about to go down. I'm only ending it here because I meant to start earlier, but because of traffic and things like that, wasn't really able to be here as soon as I could. But hey, I at least got the stream and I didn't cower it out again. It's nice to be back. Anyways, see you guys later.